Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Just the views of the Irish Property Owners Association, just in regard to top-up rents, because I've come across, right over the last 20 years, but particularly in the last 10 years, the increasing use of the rent, particularly HAP is so much, the tenant pays that to the council, but in some cases I come across where actually there's a top-up payment to the landlord that is way in excess of what the amount for the top-up. So you wind up maybe paying double or triple what the differential rent is to the local authority. Just in a word, what's your view of that? And that's widespread, because you mentioned about being on the ground. I would be fairly well on the ground for a good number of years, meeting people, and you understand it's not on one side of it, but specifically on that issue, if you could address that for me, Morris, please. In a word, what's your view of that, and what are you doing to stamp that out among your members?
Would I be able to take it?
No, you take it.
Yeah, sorry, just
Short
that
answer.
when HAP was introduced, there were top-ups that had to be paid by people to the landlord as well. The capital limit, and they allowed a certain amount to be topped up by the local, or by the tenant themselves.
And where's an undeclared top-up, Margaret? Where the top-up is undeclared, in a word.
Now, if there's an undeclared top-up, or there's money that's been paid over, that's illegal. The law is the law, and the rent must be the rent.
And you're reminding your members of that, are you?
Sorry?
Your organisation is reminding your members of that, are you?
We would always
good.
Work with our members around that.
My next question is just in relation to unkept private tenancy accommodation. Inside might be great, might be kept well, where the tenant actually, the part that the tenant looks after and keeps the external, no rubbish running around outside, but the actual condition, physical condition of the property. I mean, I could bring it to estates. I can tell you which houses are rented just by walking around it. I can tell you which house, clearly some houses you can see, some you can't tell the difference, but some you can clearly tell the difference, where they're kept in where there's clear exterior work to be done and it's not being done. What's the solution to that, Morris?
There's obligations on both parties, on tenants and on landlords. Landlords must maintain their properties to a good standard, yes. and they should do. And tenants also must keep the properties to a good standard to a degree. So
payment management fees, where there's a management company, you come across situations where the single owners, the owner occupiers of apartments, typically they're paying. Some landlords are paying. The local authorities paying if they have a number of units in the same complex, but you come across situations, and I've certainly come across where a considerable number of private landlords who owned apartments in a complex are not paying.
Thanks
and
much.
What's the solution to that?
Okay,
in a word, just in a word.
We have a second.
It's a really important issue.
Multi-unit accommodation, huge difficulties around getting service charges from different people. It's a huge. It needs legislation.
It's a consistent
process. Will go down when they go to sell on the property because the landlord owns the property can't get clearance to sell it.
Thank you very much. Sorry.
It allows the complex to go to rack and ruin.
We're going to have to just.